Which quarterback that was drafted in the 2025 NFL Draft is going to have the best chance to succeed with a career in the National Football League? Thank you so much again for joining me with Blitz with Blender. I am Josh Blender, and as always, it is my pleasure to deliver you football with passion. To start this off, let's go over how many quarterbacks were overall taken and run through them. So there were 13 quarterbacks taken overall. Very well, we have gone over Cam Ward being the first overall selection. We pretty much knew this for the last couple of months. At the start of March, we knew that is what was going to be. But who is going to be the second quarterback off the board? Very well, it was said that Shedeur Sanders was going to be that guy. Well, that didn't end up happening. The New York Giants trade in to that 25 slot to take Jackson Dart. Earlier in the draft, the New Orleans Saints passed up with a shot to take a quarterback and ended up taking a left tackle, which is going to make, we know, their quarterback position a little bit better. They take Tyler Shough with the 8th pick in the 2nd round. Jalen Milroe goes in the 3rd round. Dillon Gabriel goes in the 3rd round. No quarterbacks in the 4th. But then Shedeur Sanders finally goes off in the 5th round of the draft. After that, Kyle McCord, Will Howard go. Riley Leonard, remember Riley Leonard, Kyle McCord were facing off the national championship game. Dillon Gabriel is another guy that had played deep in the college football playoff, that Rose Bowl with Oregon. We know Quinn Ewers a little bit later on in the 7th round was in the college football playoff. Curtis Rourke was a 7th rounder taken by San Francisco, who we presume will be a backup to Brock Purdy. Cam Miller went to the Raiders. Graham Mertz to Houston, which was, again, an interesting one. So they're going with a bit more athlete than a guy like Quinn Ewers, who felt to be the last quarterback taken in this draft. It's a little bit ironic because a couple of years ago, Quinn Ewers was the #1 quarterback recruit in the country. We also saw, I had mentioned Kyle McCord earlier. So that was the crop, 13 quarterbacks overall. To start off, when you think about #1, you would be saying this guy likely is going to a pretty rough organization. Like, this team does not have the infrastructure in place to be able to support him over the next couple of seasons. And again, that is my #1 concern and why I do not actually think that Cam Ward has the best chance to succeed, just because he has more talent throwing the football than any other team. Because if we look at what's built around him, they just brought in Tyler Lockett. They've got Calvin Ridley there. They've got Burks. The offensive line is decent. Remember, they took J.C. Latham last year. They've got Zeitler. They've got Skoronski from Northwestern. And then the defense is pretty decent. It's aged a little bit. They have Jeff Simmons still on that roster. They brought in T'Vondre Sweat from Texas in the back end of the defense. You've McCreary, like Xavier Woods, Snead they got from the Chiefs, as I'm looking through the depth chart here. But that is not a roster that is currently right now built to overcome the Houston Texans. More so, I don't think it is enough to overcome the likes of the Colts or the Jacksonville Jaguars. I actually have the Tennessee Titans, as of right now, after starting my post-draft grades, as being either the third or the 4th team finishing in that division, and have them moving up a tiny bit from the back end. But still, I do not think that they have the pieces in place, which is a bit tough to say, because that is often what happens to #1 quarterbacks. We think that Caleb Williams is, see the Bears stuff in the back there, but is going to immediately, people think, have a bit more success. Even after a horrendous rookie season, getting sacked all that much, still he had a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and the pieces are coming together in the future. So that second year for Cam Ward, what will that look like? But as of now, in terms of the roster that is available, the depth that is built around a quarterback to succeed, Titans do not think Cam Ward is that guy. So I'd be asking, who is that guy going to be? You're going to break down all this. Not going to talk about every quarterback, but how about the likes of Jalen Milroe? The only thing about this, which is to his benefit, is he doesn't have to start right away. Sam Darnold is going there. That's the experienced quarterback. Jalen Milroe is not necessarily going to even play next season, right? They signed Sam Darnold in the offseason, and he's going to be in a role where he can fill in as an athletic piece to bring in a player from time to time for certain plays, for running situations, or bringing in an element where he can use his legs. And realistically, Jalen Milroe might not have that physical toll that might be on a guy like Cam Moore, that might get hit a whole bunch of times or have a bit more wear and tear on the body after a season or two than Jalen Milroe if he gets the chance to learn from Sam Darnold. And again, they've got a good running game. Zach Charbonnet is there. The defense has been built very nicely. They just took, Gray Zabel, the left guard at North Dakota State. They took him in the draft. I do think that they need a little bit more help on the offensive line to protect. And they've got Cooper Kupp there. And so the wide receiver core is not as strong as it previously had been. How is it going to be when you lose Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf? How about this name? Will Howard is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Much like Jalen, there's an expectation that a veteran quarterback is going to come in and fill that starting role. All right. As of now, it looks like it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. That name has been all over. It's probably been the most popular name in the media, even after the entire draft. Shedeur Sanders' name has been said millions of times the last couple of weeks. So Will Howard has the frame, 6'4" and a quarter, 235 pounds. The arm isn't as large as you would want for an NFL quarterback, but he has the size and the ability to operate in offense and push the ball down the field. Don't look anywhere further than the third and Jeremiah play to seal the national championship game. So he likely is not going to have to be thrust into the action. They have infrastructure built around him. You're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who haven't had a losing season in 20 years dating back. So he doesn't need to go out there and get himself killed. And Pittsburgh is built around running the football and playing defense. I think that Will Howard is fundamentally one of the guys with the best chances to succeed, because we know Pittsburgh is going to play great defense and that he's not going to be the necessarily star guy going to have to take over everything. He might not even be the face of that franchise if he was the starting quarterback. That's going to be a defender like TJ Watt. Love where Quinn Ewers is, got to be honest with you. He's in Miami, where they are going to try to run it up and stay aggressive, foot to the pedal. And he does have some injury history. There was the oblique, and it's well known throughout college football fans of Quinn's inability to stay healthy throughout the last 2 seasons, and Arch getting more playing time last year. But Tua Tagovailoa, just about everybody around football knows that he's had the head stuff, and he is a question mark with health. The health is going to be a concern with him every single snap that he is out there. That means that any quarterback really is, but a bit more so likely is going to be Quinn Ewers, the ability to step right into there with an extremely friendly offense built around speed, where they have Jalen Waddle. And currently, as I am making this video, they still have Tyreek Hill to be able to operate their offense, and Mike McDaniel slowing everything down for him to make him be successful. Quinn Ewers getting playing time for the Miami Dolphins is not at all unrealistic. And although he's being crapped on by a number of people for not transferring to build up more stock and could have made over $5 million in NIL, don't overlook Quinn Ewers. Yet another guy, this one is just a little bit tough to see him filling in a role in the near future, is Riley Leonard. People are going to look at the tool set of what Riley does as, okay, he's 6'4", Anthony Richardson's 6'4", 6'5". Okay, he's a big kid, 225. Well, Anthony Richardson's like 240 pounds. Well, he's an athlete. Okay, Anthony Richardson was the most athletic quarterback we've ever seen in NFL combat. Well, he's got a good arm. Well, Anthony Richardson has an absolute rocket. Every single box that Riley Leonard is able to check off, the people in decision-making roles are going to look and say, well, Anthony Richardson can do that a little bit better. I'll just ask this. Did Anthony Richardson take a team to the national championship game? Granted, those are very different football teams. Riley Leonard does not have to play in the gauntlet that is the Southeast Conference, and there wasn't an expansion to 12 teams for the college football playoff when Richardson was playing, but you get what I am saying. Riley Leonard could have an incredible offseason and be given every single box he needs to check off and check them and do better than Anthony. Anthony's still at the investment that has been made by that organization to him. It is tough to see him getting a shot to be the starter unless something physically does end up happening to Richardson, or the play is just abhorrent and it is very bad. A guy that we have not yet mentioned, you're probably like, thank you for that, but Shedeur Sanders, again, him and Dillon Gabriel are going to battle it out for the starting quarterback role. They still have to beat out Joe Flacco, and Kenny Pickett. So that quarterback room is as deep as any, but don't really think they're going to be keeping more than 3 quarterbacks, again, with a offensive-minded head coach, very much like McDaniel. Shedeur has an opportunity to win that role, and frankly has a better chance right now, maybe even if it's a bit more veteran-laden team, than where Riley Leonard is going to be competing in Indy. But the opportunity is there for Dillon and for Shedeur to battle it out and play. Tyler Shough and Jackson Dart now. Jackson Dart is going to have Malik Nabers to throw the football to. The defense just got better with the freaking nature that is Abdul Carter paired with Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence. So he's going to have, I think, an opportunity to have Malik Nabers play into a top 10 wide receiver role. Top 10, you might be saying, yeah, we're going to go higher. He could play into a top 3 wide receiver role if he were to be the starter, but is he going to play in his first season? So Jackson Dart over time will have a good amount of success to succeed, but do we trust the New York Giants as of lately, the past 10 years, to be able to develop the quarterback position correctly? Like, another bad season for New York, are they going to hang on to Dable? Or if they end up starting Jackson in year 2, are they going to give it time? This is just what is going to be so tough. Russell Wilson or Jameis play this season, and Jackson Dart maybe gets a little bit of playing time. Okay, let's say the Giants go 6-11. The next year, let's say Jackson ends up being the starter. It's his first year starting. He has some struggles. Maybe they improve, like they're 6-11 again, or they're 7-10. Brian Dable, is he going to make it the next 2 years to build and truly develop the quarterback role was shown? Will he still be there? That is my biggest concern, to be honest. The Giants say, we're going to develop you. But the only true way to develop the quarterback is to be with him every single step of the way, and just don't know the Giants are going to be able to do that. So I am a little bit concerned about New York's stability for the next 2 years, plus with the front office as well as with their head coach, because in that division, where you going with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys? How are they going to develop him if they end up firing guys? And then Tyler Shough, 6'5", 220 pounds, has been there. It's just with what New Orleans has been with the days of post Sean Payton, a little bit more defensive heavy. Obviously, I mean, they do have talent on that roster. Looking through, Kamara's still there. They still have Olave and Brandon Cooks. It's just going to be tough. The biggest benefit to him is playing in one of the weakest divisions, the 2 Souths, right? AFC South and the NFC South, the 2 weakest divisions of football. That's the best chance to succeed, is not having to go up. The 2 weakest divisions of football, the AFC South and NFC South, he's not having to go up against the gauntlet that would be a quarterback new to the NFC North or the NFC East, or like Will Howard having to deal with the AFC North with Joe Burrow, or the AFC West if you're a new rookie like Bo Nix going in there, or if the Raiders or fully going with a young quarterback. So thank you so much for going through this. Let me know what you think about it. My overall thought is that Quinn Ewers has the best chance to succeed of any of these guys, just with the likes of Tua. If I had to come up with a number 2, I would see Cam Ward being in that second slot. Next, Will Howard, and then after that, Shedeur Sanders, as far as guys with the highest chance to succeed in the NFL, which is tricky with this quarterback class that was considered relatively weak. So thank you so much for watching this. Appreciate you very much. If you have not yet already, make sure to subscribe for more football content in the future. Let me know in the comments whether you agree with that list of 4 guys, or if you disagree with anything that I was saying throughout this, but would love to engage with the fans more. Love talking and cutting up the football stuff, especially when the NFL and college football merge a little bit. So thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time with Blitz with Blinder.